I was not looking to build a championship contending team for this upcoming season. My window for a championship is a little longer, maybe 5, 6. I don't have a problem with 4 or 3. Don't get me wrong. Um, I'm looking to build off of last season, which is kind of hard in the sense that we're not those guys are not under contract, but I'm really trying to build in the sense of getting a core established. Well, if the Knicks can finish anywhere between 4 and 8 next year, I'm happy. I feel like I need to see Randall one more year before I give up any assets to bring somebody in to play with him. And I don't care what he does in the regular season next year. He could be MVP. I'm focusing on the playoffs, right? I really need to see him. He doesn't have to be lights out, but I really need to see him perform in the playoffs. And if he's able to do that, I feel much more comfortable trading assets, young players, even RJ, depending on who the player is that we're going after to bring in to play with him. But I don't want to do that until I kind of know what we have. So that was my thinking and building this roster. Who can I bring in that's going to get us anywhere between 4 and 8? And we'll see who Randall is. And then next season, we can go big game hunting. That was my mindset when I put this roster together. The other thing was I was looking for efficient players. So to me, the wing position in this draft was pretty slim. I like what Tony did in trading for Wiggins. I didn't really think about that. Oubre to me wasn't a top choice. He's right at that level where he's been in the league for some time, maybe 4 years, 5 years maybe. And I'm not sure if he's ascending where he's going to improve or if where he is right now is who he's going to be, like an inconsistent shooter type player. And this is pretty much what he is. So what I decided to do with this roster is I moved RJ to the 3 and I signed a 2 guard in free agency. So let's get it. Let's start with what's the first slide? Okay. Yes. The first thing I did was I traded for Collin Sexton. I traded Obi Toppin, the 32nd pick, the 58th pick. And if they want more than that, too bad. Now, it'll all come together with the roster. I didn't choose Collin Sexton to start on this team. I have a veteran on the team. I like Collin Sexton in the sense that he's able to score on all 3 levels, right? I like that. I like the fact that he has that dog mentality. I don't think New York is going to be too big. The lights are going to be too bright for him. And he plays good defense. And I think under Tibbs, he's going to be a defensive demon. I just see him really, really guarding. My concern is his playmaking. But again, with better players, he may get better. I did go back and look at tape, and I saw that, there were times when he drove the lane and he was able to draw a defender and make the pass. So it's there. So I anticipate that getting better. But that's the only trade I did. Everybody else I signed was in free agency and in the draft. So if we can move to who I signed in free agency. I signed Norman Powell, Cal Lowry, Tony Snell, Carmelo Anthony, JaVale McGee, and I brought back Taj Gibson for a little bit over the vet minimum. I signed Powell to play the 2, 4 years, $72 million. So that's about $18 million per year. He may command more than that, but I put $18 million. I brought in Cal Lowry, I think, for just 2 years. I think that we do need that type of leadership at the point guard position. I do think we need that type of somebody who's been there before, who could play good defense, who can make the right reads, and who Randall would have to respect. You're not going to be clapping, your hands that you want the ball with Cal Lowry. I thought we would have to overpay him, in order to get him. His stock is going up. Miami is looking at him. Other teams are looking at him. You're only going to have him for 2 years. So you're not going to get him at 15, 16 million. So that's 27 million. Tony Snell, again, to come off the bench, 3 years, 18 million. I tried to keep the salaries what I think their market value is. That might even be a little below, but that's just 6 million for Snell. Carmelo Anthony, I think that on that second team, he could play the 4 position. But I also, he could play the 4. And he can shoot for us. He can rebound, and he still has it. We're not looking for Carmelo Anthony to come in here and drop 25. I do heard people, because Carmelo was on both Josh and Tony's roster, that he's ISO. If you watch, I'm a fan of Carmelo Anthony. So when he's in Portland, I watch him in Portland. He's not that guy that just hogs the ball and dribbles, pounds the ball in, takes up all the shot clock before he shoots. He's not that guy. So he's somebody who could play within the confines of an offense and can play off of people. He closed a lot in Portland, off of Dame and off of McCollum. So I have no issues with Carmelo being a ball hog. JaVale McGee also on the second team. Taj Gibson, more situational, if there's any injuries. And the next slide, in terms of the draft, I went with Isaiah. Really? I went with Isaiah. Wow. Okay. But I'm going to amend that. I would go with Troy Murphy and Trey Mann. I would go with Trey Murphy and Trey Mann. I'm not a big advocate of the Knicks trading up. How far up are they going to be able to get? 14, 13 maybe? Are you confident that who you got at 13 is going to be better than Trey Murphy or Trey Mann? I don't think there's much separation to me after the top 3, really, top 4, really. So I would not trade up. So scratch Isaiah Jackson. That I put that there. That's probably error. I meant Trey Murphy and Trey Mann. And now get into the team. Anyway, first of all, before we get into the team, did y'all have any questions on the trade, on the free agents, on the draft?
I'm with you.
Yep, I'm with you.
All right, so we can move to the team. So I also did not bring back Rose, even though we can go over the cap to sign him. I like him. I like what he brought to our team. I just think if you got Lowry, you don't really need Rose. And I think even at 20 minutes a game, he could still miss time, with the injury. So for starters, I went with Lowry, Powell, and Barrett, Randall, and Mitchell Robinson. I think between Lowry and Powell, they're kind of undersized at the 1 and the 2, but I'm not concerned because both of those guys, in my opinion, have that dog mentality. They really get after it defensively, and I think they'll be able to guard people that are taller than them. I have Sexton coming off the bench behind Lowry. He may close, sometimes, Tibbs goes with whoever's playing well at the time. But on that bench, I got Sexton, Quickly, Snell, Anthony, and McGee. Just trying to get some defense in there with Jamel, with McGee and Snell. And Sexton in that second unit, but at the same time, Sexton can score, Quickly can score, Snell can hit the 3, Anthony can score, JaVale McGee off the bench. Situational would be Mendoza, Knox, Gibson, and the rookies, Trey Murphy and Trey Mann, and still $7 million left in cap. So if we want to give, if you feel like Powell is going to command more than that, there's more money for them. If we feel like we have to go to $60 million in order to get Lowry, 2 years, $60 million. So another $3 million a year, we have the money to do that. I'm not sure what the chat is saying, but I'm sure a lot of people don't like Lowry. I have concerns about his age as well. I think when you get to 34, 35, sometimes it's just a quick decline. 1 year you have it, the next year you don't. I get it. But this is somebody that I would take a chance on for just 2 years. And I think that Sexton learning from him would be great playing behind him. I think it would be great. He can also play with him at times as well. This is the team that I think can still get us not championship contender, because remember, I got to see Randall for another year. I believe we can make the playoffs with this team, and not the play-in, the playoffs. So 4 through 6 with this team. Yeah.
I like it, Steph. I think contrary to what the chat might feel, I think it's similar to my roster, or at least the thought pattern behind it. If I was gonna make an amendment, what was the money you spent on Snell?
I think it was $6 million, 3 years, 18 million.
Do you think with that extra salary cap, do you think we could go to 7 or even 8 and keep Bullock, or do you prefer him over Bullock? And my only reason I say,
yeah. I mean, I would be okay with that.
It's the same thing Josh mentioned with the chemistry. So I mean, that would probably be my only amendment. But yeah, the chat is very receptive. I think the main knock is Melo, so that's a knock for all three of us.
Which I don't understand why.
What was the issue? What did you just say, Tony?
The main knock on all of us was basically Melo. So that was like your only thing that they're not really feeling is Melo. And it's not like it's Melo of old, Melo of the past, the money of the past. So, excuse me, those are people that are just still mad about the past.
I mean, I've seen that there. I'm not sure what Melo did. I mean,
exactly.
He was under fire. He was the one that was thrown into the situation turned toxic on him. And I thought he handled himself with a lot of class during that Phil Jackson era. So I don't quite get the Melo issue. This guy can still play. If you watched him play, he can still play. So I don't get it. And I'm looking for somebody who could play with Randall and play behind Randall, and he can.
And Chef Zay is mad that Knox is still on the team. Like why?
Yeah, all right. Put him in the Obi trade. Put him in the Obi trade for Sexton, because somebody said that wouldn't be enough for Sexton. So put him in the Sexton trade.
But why are you mad that a player is still on the roster? Like that's back to the Melo hate. You know what I mean? Like, you mad because someone's on the roster without having a solution. You know what I mean? Like, you just want them gone. Like, it's addition by subtraction.
Right.
But, Obamacare Part 2. No, let me stop.
Don't do that, Josh.
Yeah. Somebody said they would tolerate my roster, but they like Jackson. I like Jackson, too. I don't think he's fallen to 19. And if he does, I think the Knicks should draft him. Sexton should start over Lowry. Maybe. I mean, you could make that argument. I just like the veteran leadership out there.
And I think your window is I think it's less than 5-6 years. I think that's a 3-year window where
we don't have no superstar on that team. I think you would need. That's what I'm saying. This is just going to get us in the playoffs. We're going to see what we have in Randall. Maybe Knox grows. Maybe quickly grows. And then that next summer, you got to. Now I'm in Josh mode in the summer of 2022. If Randall is your guy, let's not waste any time. You got to go and you got to get him an all-star or NBA type player to go with him. Period.
I agree.
I agree with you. I think Randall's that guy right now. I really do. I think the playoffs, what happened was kind of was not supposed to happen, and I definitely gave him a lot of flack for it myself. But at this point, the Knicks cannot just wait for another year and to figure it out again and wait for the next free agent class. Every season, it feels like we're doing the same thing.
We're gonna still build a team. but I just want to see it before I give up assets for him. That's all. That's all I'm saying. But I agree. You're sure now. I need another year. But I think we're on the same page that if you're sure, you got to make it happen.